Alright, so deer season hasn't been going well so far. I've had some close run-ins and all that with deer, but I've not been able to put anything down yet. So I got out a deer ham, or deer shoulder from last year, and I'm going to season this up and I'm going to put it on the smoker, and we're going to make some pulled venison out of it and make some sandwiches, and then make some sauerkraut to go along with it. So stick with us. So this is everything we'll be using for the seasoning. We have some ground coriander, some paprika, brown sugar, coffee, peppercorns, garlic powder, and kosher salt. So to start out, I'm going to add some paprika into our bowl. Probably about 2-3 tablespoons. And about the same amount of coriander. Maybe just a tablespoon of coriander actually. Okay. Add about probably 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. And then I'll do about 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. Okay. So we have our mortar and pestle here. I'm going to put in quite a bit of coffee because this is a coffee rub. And I think coffee rubs go really well with wild game. Or I could just season the table. So that's about 3 heaping tablespoons right now, just to kind of start us off. And I just want to kind of grind it into a bit of a finer powder. So this is pretty fine as is already, so it won't take that much. I just kind of break it down a little bit more, just so it better incorporates in our seasoning. That should be good enough. So we will put it into our bowl now, a little bit at a time, just to see kind of where we're at with it. This right here, there's a lot more brown sugar in there than coffee, so we're going to put a little bit more coffee in there, but coffee rub is very strong, so I'll about put another tablespoon in here, and that'll be it. Now we're going to take about a tablespoon of kosher salt, and we're going to grind it up as well. Maybe a little bit more than a tablespoon. There we go. So there we've got it broken up and pretty powdery now. And we'll just add that into our bowl here. And we will mix it up as well. And last but not least, a little bit of peppercorn. That's over in there for now. And then about 2.5 tablespoons of peppercorn. We're going to grind it up. Alright, now we've got that pretty well ground up. We're going to add that into our bowl, and then we'll season up our shoulder. So now that we have our deer shoulder over here, we're going to take our seasoning and we're going to generously season both sides. Just kind of rub it in there. So we have both sides seasoned up pretty well, and I have my grill out there. It's a pellet grill smoker set to 250 degrees. So we're going to throw this on there for about 2 to 3 hours, and then we'll wrap it in butcher paper and then let it cook for an additional few hours to really get it nice and tender, and hopefully retain some moisture in there so it won't be dried out and anything like that. And we'll get back with you when we wrap it up and see how it does. So now this has been in the smoker for about 2 hours now, maybe a little bit longer. So I think it's got enough of that smoke flavor to it now. So I'm going to take some butcher paper here, I'm going to wrap it up And I'll put it in there for maybe about another 3 hours, and it should be good and tender by then. But if not, we'll put it in there for a little bit longer, and then make some barbecue out of it. Fix this. Now we're going to set this back onto the grill outside, and we're going to let it smoke for another 3 hours, like I said. So hopefully it's a bit tender by then. If not, we'll let it go for a little longer. Doesn't matter, I got all the time in the world. So while that's finishing up in the smoker, I'm going to make a really quick coleslaw to go with this. I'm just going to put it in the fridge, let it get cold a little bit. So I have cabbage, carrots, and I'm not too sure how to pronounce this. I don't want to like butcher it or anything like that. And I'm going to put some sugar and mayonnaise in there. I'd usually put lemon juice, but I don't have any. I didn't realize I didn't have any until I started making this, so we're just going to work with what we've got right now and see where we get. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to have our peeler. I'm going to peel our carrots. And now I'm going to take our peeler, I'm going to peel this as well. So now I'm going to work on trying to cut these into small strips, so when I put the cabbage and everything together, it comes together into a nice coleslaw. So cut that nub off there, put a little trash bags out of here. Okay. Come along this edge, and I'm just going to cut small strips. So it's not too thin, but it's going to be good for putting on top of the burger, or well, a pulled pork sandwich that we're about to make. Or not pulled pork, I'm sorry, pulled venison. So we're just going to place this into our bowl here, and then we'll start on carrots. Cut those ends off. So right here is about the consistency that we're wanting with these, and I've only got one done so far because my knife skills are not the best, but we're trying. That's all that matters. So I'm going to cut these other two up, and then we'll move on to the cabbage. So I'm only going to be using 1.5 carrots on this instead of the 3 because there's already quite a bit of carrot in there. So we're just going to move on to the cabbage now. Now, I've already peeled off the first 2 layers of this one, so you're going to clean our knife, knock it off. I'm going to split it down the middle, and then just thinly slice it. Let's take the smaller half here, move the rest of it back onto this little bag here. Alright. We'll take and break this up and place it in here. Divide it all. Okay. Any big pieces like this right here we'll pick out. So our red cabbage is essentially going to be the same thing as our green cabbage. I'm going to split it down the middle and then just cut it up. And that'll probably be enough of that. And then we'll get our mayonnaise here in a second, and our sugar, and we'll just put it all together. Hopefully it works well with just mayonnaise and sugar, and hopefully it doesn't taste too off without lime juice, but we'll see. So now we're going to slowly incorporate our mayonnaise, you guys can't see it, our mayonnaise and our sugar. We go mayonnaise first. Give it a few heaping tablespoons. And we're gonna mix all this together. We'll do 1.5 tablespoons of sugar right now. It's looking pretty good. Take a little bit out. That's not too bad. We're gonna put a little bit more sugar in. Put the rest of that ½ teaspoon in there. ½ teaspoon. And mix that up. Maybe a little bit more mayonnaise. I think that's good. Now if I did have the lemon juice, this would be a lot better. Give it a little bit of a lemony taste and all that. But I don't have that, so we're just making do. But this still tastes really good. So we'll put this in the fridge and wait for our shoulder to get done, and then we'll put it all together into a sandwich. See how it tastes. Alright, so I fell asleep before I could actually try that. It's been resting for a few hours now. It did take longer than intended. It took up for like around 9 hours or so in total. But I'm hoping that it turned out pretty tender. We're gonna find out though, so I'm gonna go grab it real quick and we're gonna find out. So here it is. I've not opened it yet, but open it together and see how it turned out. Oh yeah, you can see nice smoke ring on there from the 3 hours of initial smoking. I mean, that just ripped off easily with my hands. So I will get a bowl real quick. I'm gonna put this in there and shred it all, and then we'll put some barbecue sauce on it and we'll put a sandwich together. So I've cut the majority of the meat off now. Some of it was too small, I guess, and it kind of cooked to it, but the bone's pretty clean now. I'm just gonna rip all of this up and then put some barbecue sauce on it. Alright, now that I've got it all broken up, I have some barbecue sauce here, and I'm just going to pour it over there a little at a time and just kind of mix it together until it gets to like the coverage I want it to be at. Start with about that much. Because I don't want the barbecue sauce to be too overpowering to where you can't even taste the deer and all the seasonings on the deer, so it's gonna go a little at a time here. But it's already smelling amazing. A little bit more. I think if this is good, I'll stop grinding my shoulders. Cook them like this, so I'll have barbecue. Let me just finish off the bottle in here. I didn't have a full bottle, it was like maybe halfway. Maybe a little bit more than halfway. We'll set this off to the side and we'll start assembling our sandwiches. So I have these nice soft brioche buns here that I got from Kroger's. And this is what we're going to use to make our sandwich. And on top, let's see, nice generous portion of that shoulder. And then on top of that, we'll put our coleslaw that we made a little bit earlier. It's been in the fridge chilling and looking really good. I'm on here a little bit of an angle. That is a pulled venison sandwich. So now let's try this. See how it's turned out. So you can still easily taste the deer meat on that. It's not, the barbecue sauce isn't overpowering. Seasoned very well. It's got a nice smoky flavor to it, and the coleslaw just kind of mellows it all out. So that is probably how I'm going to start fixing my deer shoulders from now on, because it actually turned out pretty good. But if y'all like this recipe, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. Thanks.